want to share something with you that the Most High put on my heart this morning to bless you. I want to pray first. So, Most High, I thank you. You are God. You are above all. You are our Creator. You are the everlasting one, the Ancient of Days. You know us better than we know ourselves. You know the end from the beginning. I thank you. I pray that your word will go forth, what you gave me this morning. I pray that you would help me to articulate it and just share it with your people. And I pray that their hearts and minds will be open to hear you, that you give them ears to hear. And I ask you to give me strength and courage and wisdom to share. In the name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it. All right, so I want to start with Psalm 1. And Psalm 1 says, "Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." It goes on to say that the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. But I want to focus on the first part. I want to focus on the first part because what he gave me this morning was I was just kind of amazed. I mean, obviously but the kingdom is within us. The kingdom is within you. His kingdom is within you. So, and of course, yes, he is definitely bringing the kingdom as well. He's bringing what he made for us and how he made us to fit into it. But the kingdom is within you, right? You have a part to bring forth. And so, the most natural thing to bring forth that kingdom, the way it's supposed to happen, is because there's a plan for you. Just like there's a plan for a tree, an apple tree, to bring forth apples, right? There's a plan for a pear tree to bring forth pears. It's a plan. So there's a plan for you to bring forth his kingdom. The way for that to happen is to meditate on his law day and night. It says, "And he shall be like a tree." Like, that's the most natural thing. That's not, you know what I mean? It's incredibly natural for a tree to be sitting by a river of water and to bring forth fruit because it's getting nourishment. And that's what he's saying. That his commandments, if we meditate in his law, in his ways, we're getting that nourishment, ancient nourishment, like the way it's supposed to be. You know, when I think of that, like that's what really started to hit me. It's ancient nourishment, like it's the way it's supposed to be. Right? From the beginning of time, it's the way he set it up. Just like water would be for a tree, right? To give it nourishment. That's ancient. That's an old. It's like anybody who's trying to grow something. Oh yeah, you need water. That's the ancient. You know, sure, you could use some miracle grow. You don't even have to water it that they make, right? But that's not the way. That's not the natural way that it's supposed to go. The organic way that it's supposed to go, right? Then he kind of led my mind to think, and the Holy Spirit brought back that verse. What comes out of a man is what makes him impure, right? When Christ is saying it's not what goes into a man that makes him impure, it's what comes out of him. So it's whether you're bringing forth good or evil out of you. Whatever kingdom you're bringing forth is what makes you clean or unclean. That's how people can determine whether you're clean or unclean. It's like a tree not bringing forth the right fruit, right? He brings forth some kind of weird, um, pear or weird, or rotten, you know. Then they know that tree is rotten. They know that it's rotten from the root, right? So when I started to meditate on that, I really started to see that what we have been born into a system, right? Where as soon as we're born, we're either put in front of a television or we're put in front of even I won't go into the systems and school systems and all that kind of stuff. We all know, but we're taught these things that are not of the Most High. They're not ancient. They're not from the ancient one, right? They're not from the Most High. So we're not just taught it. It's ingrained. It's repetitive. It's over and over, right? We're just getting these messages over and over. Messages that the commandments are too hard. That we can't do it, that they're gone, that we're not supposed to do it. And all of these things, in other words, they're saying the ancient way that he chose, that he made for us, the ancient way, the water that we need. Oh, water is too, that's like a tree saying water is too wet. I can't, it's too cold. No, not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to go with the miracle grow. It's really, we really got to think about that. We're not made for that other stuff. We're actually made for the commandments of the Most High God. We're made to follow Him. Now, give me a second here, because it's really, really important that we get this. And there are some things that I just want to point out. How do we show that we fear? How do we show that we fear the Most High? Right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It says that in Proverbs. That's the fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. So how do we show that we fear Him? How do we show that we have any respect for Him? It's to go back to those ancient ways, right? He is blessed forever from before the beginning of time. This one who's the ancient one, and He gave rules, these commandments. We can call them ancient, right? But the way to show that we fear Him and that we want Him, that we desire Him, is to go back to those ancient ways. Think of it when people practice rituals and things, other types of rituals and just other things that have nothing to do with the Most High, right? And if they read a book and it tells them to go and get some turmeric and a leaf and you smash it together and you smear it all over, whatever these things, right? That's ancient. Now, it's not as ancient as the Most High. Somebody made that, and that's a ritual to a demonic force, right? But it's ancient, and they will go do it. They're doing, and we sometimes, even the Most High's people, will sometimes go and try these ancient practices, but they won't do the ancient thing that is the nourishment for your soul, for your actual life, which is the commandments of the Most High. Those are ancient, but they are for your good. They are water to your soul. Right? Psalm 119. It says, how shall a man cleanse his way? By taking heed by taking heed to the word, to the word of the Most High, to being obedient, to going back to those ancient ways. That's how we cleanse our way. That's like the water cleansing us. It will cleanse our way so that we can see, so we can make his path straight. That's just the beginning. Like, that's the beginning of the everything else that we talk about, the abundant life and the all the other stuff that we want to see, that we want, that we desire to do for him, or that we desire for him to do for us. The beginning of it is fearing him. Now, let me just point out something else really quick. He gave us commandments, right? He gave us commandments that we actually shared with the world to create civilization, right? The Sabbath used to be on Saturday, but we got the thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor's, right? So we're doing those in society. That's how we know. I shouldn't say we're doing those, because obviously there are people that aren't, but that's how we know a civilized world, a civilized city, a civilized country. We wouldn't even want to live somewhere where it's okay to do against those things. That wouldn't be civilized to us, just in any normal type of, right? Think about that for 2 seconds. And those are commandments from the Most High. Those are commandments from the Most High. Those are the ancient commandments, right? That's like 6 through 10. But 1 through 5, and the 5th one is honor your father and your mother, right? That your days may be long upon the earth. But 1 through 4 are honoring him. That's what we don't do. Those are the things that got cut out. 1 through 4 is about honoring the Most High. And those are the things that we're all of a sudden we're able to do away with. Or we're saying they're done away with. And we wouldn't even be living in a civilized environment without 6 through 10. Like, that doesn't, you gotta really look at the trick. That's a trick. That's a trick of the enemy, and we have to wake up from it. We wouldn't even be living in a civilized environment without commandments 6 through 10, right? And so he's been having mercy on us because we've been violating 1 through 4. That we're taught basically to violate 1 through 4. But think about that for just a second. You know what I mean? Just consider that, please. Because it's not about rules. It's about the way he made the world to be. If there wasn't a plan, a structure to a tree wouldn't be a tree. If there wasn't a structure to a flower, we wouldn't have any distinguishment between a rose and a lily. But they each have a plan of its own. The structure is that they go into the ground and they come up, right? They go into the ground, the seed dies, and then they spring forth. It's their fruit. So that's a commandment. Now, what they bring forth is his creativity and his kingdom, those colors, those fruits, the smells, the aroma. That's the beauty of his kingdom. That's going to come from you in his own way, whatever it is that you're bringing forth, that aroma, that fruit. But it's got to start with that structure of you going down into the ground, humbling yourself. Your will has to die, so that seed has to die. Again, that's right. And then we come up as we meditate on his word and get that water. We get that water. It sheds off the seed and the hardness of our heart against him. The thing that we're protecting. We're trying to protect ourselves against the world and against the this and that, because of our pain and because of our hurts and whatever. That has to go. And it will go. It's not even about it has, like we have to do something except Therefore, meditate on his word. That's it. Just meditate on his word, on his commandments. Meditate on what he's saying. Get to know his judgments. Look at Exodus, you know. Look at the judgments. Look at the way he thinks. Think about, meditate on the way he's thinking about things, the way he's choosing to decide. When he gave Solomon that wisdom, remember at the beginning when Solomon asked for wisdom, the very first thing, the very first test he had was those two ladies, the two women that came in that, you know, each of them had a baby. And, you know, one of them ended up smothering their baby during while she was asleep, right? And so they both lived in the same house, and so they started arguing and saying, "Oh, well, the live baby is mine," because one of them switched, and one of them switched the other one when the other one was asleep. So she took her baby, and but who knows, when they got up, they were like, "No, this is my baby. No, this is your baby," because they were both newborns, right? So they went to Solomon and they complained, "She took my baby when because her baby died, and she smothered him, and she took my baby." She's like, "No, she took my babies. No, she took my baby." So he said, "Listen, give me a sword." This was his wisdom. He said, "Give me a sword. I'm going to cut the baby in half. I'm going to give one half to one and one half to the other." And one lady said, "Yeah, that's right. Do it." One lady said, "Yeah, that's right. Do it." And the other lady said, "No." Her bowels yearned. It says in the word, her bowels yearned for the child. She said, "No, give the baby to her." And that's how Solomon knew that the baby belonged to the right mother. We're dealing with we have access to wisdom and life beyond what we can imagine. We're talking about the Most High, who is able to do exceeding abundantly above what we could ask for or what we could even think to ask for. Exceedingly abundantly above what we could think to ask for or imagine in our hearts. Stuff that we wouldn't even ask for. But it's according to the power that works in you. And that power is the authority of his commandments, of his word. That's how we make his path straight. That's how we do the structure. That's how we get the water and start becoming what we're meant to be. That tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth fruit in our season. Right? The kingdom is inside of us. The kingdom is inside of us, and there are commandments that we need to live by to start bringing those forth. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's the start. That's the beginning of wisdom. So I just wanted to share that with you. Bless you, and I pray that the Most High just shows you his grace and mercy today, and that you would just love him even more today than yesterday. All right. Bless you, Israel, and all other nations. Bless you in the name of the Most High. Have a good day. Shalom.